Hotzak here with Hotzak and with Megabro talking metaphysics. Go ahead, Megabro.
Oh, oh man, I don't know where to start. Okay, well, you mentioned believing Ni and Te was responsible for civilization.
No, what I try to argue is this: that we've got this ongoing battle between what's obviously true and ways that NETI can attack that. Okay? And then TE is the defense of NI's obvious truth. And it tries to codify shit. And that's where the problems come in. Because once TE gets a hold of NI truths, they are no longer true. And so it's NE's job to attack everything that fails until we get down to actual core NI truths and then rebuild in non-dismantleable ways.
What do you mean by codify?
I mean, we know that murder is wrong. And we know that we want to do something about it. So TE comes up with a system to prevent people from murdering.
Do we know that murder is wrong? Or do we know that unjustified murder is wrong?
Well, if it's murder, if it's justified, it's not murder. Murder implies that it's not a justified killing.
Unjust killing.
Yeah. So,
okay.
If we know we want to stop that, TE comes up with some explanation, not explanation, protocol, right? TI comes up with some explanation as to why it's wrong, and the two never really meet, never shake hands again, right? And then once you get past basic shit like murder, people stop agreeing, and then TE and TI get into big fights all the time. My point is, the reason is TI-NE combo is correct in trying to dismantle everything that fails, but the problem is nobody has all the pieces of the metaphor or all the pieces of the analogy, and so what they don't realize is that, yes, there is a bottom to the whole thing. So the NETI crowd all turns into a bunch of relativists, and they only do good work insofar as they attack the restrictive nature of TE-NI combo. But in reality, what they should do is facilitate it, but facilitate it from the right NI conclusions, and to deny TE access to NI except where it is consistent with the correct defensible principles, ones that are immune from NETI.
I think that actually it's a combination of TE and FE that causes absolutism. Because TE by itself really just comes up with the behavior sequences. It's FE that tries to make everyone do it.
Okay, but well, maybe. I guess FE would explain some. I was going to say, well, how do you explain my INFJ friend staying in a clearly broken, unhealthy relationship for way, way too long? But I guess it's the FE thing.
Well,
right?
you have to come up with a TE to know what the sequences to get out of the relationship are.
Do you? You don't have to do that. You can just make the other person miserable until they leave.
That's awful. That's awful.
It's so much nicer than leaving. It seems so much nicer.
No, it's a clean break.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I'd rather the relationship like kill me suddenly than to slowly torture me to death.
Okay, fine, but not getting sidetracked here a little bit.
In theory, I agree, but I feel like I have a tendency to run shit to the ground.
It's a lot easier on our FE that way.
Yeah.
When they leave it's a lot easier on our FE. But regardless, the thing is, even if FE plays a role in compliance, Megabro, my point would be the actual protocols that are used to force compliance are TE 100%, and they are justified with NI truths, not NE truths, because NE truths are all about dismantling shit. NETI. Now, when we get the F's in the mix, those are just justifications and reasons to make wrong arguments along the path, or maybe some sort of core source of the introverted intuitive or extrovertedly intuited truths. But beyond that, I don't think they have a big role in actually implementing violent protocols against people that are centralized by power, where it's not personal in any sense, you know?
My thoughts on the NI civilization thing. I think NI correlates with a sort of it sees things as like a unitary essence. So in the sense of like, if you regarding Eric's metaphysics talks last night, I'm not sure if you saw any of that, Megabro, but basically some of the theory was that melody is a pure form, and that it's discovered after I guess it's discovered when it's I'm not sure how he said it was discovered. Eric, how is melody discovered again?
Well, my position is that melodies are created. The creation of one is the discovery of a definite form to an amorphous and yet unrealized potential form of something that nevertheless somehow exists in quantum superposition, and it is in fact the act of the individual to observe that thing into reality rather than to make it into reality.
But so a bunch of notes together. If you played a bunch of random notes together, that's not going to correlate with a melody. It's just going to be a bunch of
pitch and rhythm.
It's pitch and rhythm. So you say, or do you disagree with the whole notes being put together and it not being a melody then?
I mean, if you have an order of pitches in a certain distinct rhythm, it is a melody. The question is it a good melody or a true melody? Is it a discovered one or a created one? It is possible to create bad melodies by just saying, let's go E, F sharp, G, 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 A. Let's make them all quarter notes. E, 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 G, 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 E, E, E. There's a melody. I just made one, you know? But it doesn't mean it's I made a melody. I didn't discover one.
So, the form and structure of a song then, with rhythm and pitch, does there have to be a certain alignment of notes and chords that are played in order for the pure melody to arise from an amorphous form?
Well, I would say that the realized forms of songs that we have as human beings are always necessarily going to be a rendition of that melody and that combination of rhythm and notes, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that one rendition is more true than another rendition in terms of its renditioniness, right? I think that different songs might achieve different aesthetic goals with the same melody both successfully and non-exclusively of their mutual success by achieving a different aesthetic standards. And that doesn't preclude the fact that there's artistic truth, because at that point you're parsing in and down, never out and up, right? You can always parse in and down from the intuited truth. You can never parse out and up without changing its identity.
Okay. I was thinking about what you were saying about introverted intuition as letting you know what is a true melody or something like that.
Right.
And I think by itself, without any
Well,
In pure form of the melody, which is the complete form, then can we add virtue to the ways in which we try to achieve that by saying we either achieved it poorly or well?
Or who are you asking?
Megabro.
Well, poorly or well, I kind of can't really judge that without a context,
Well, the context would be like, let's say there was a, let's say the NI provides us the complete form of a melody. We have that purest form. We know, we don't consciously are aware of it, but it exists. There's a purest form, there's a melody that we're trying to discover. And we can discover it based on a certain structure and form within song, the production, the duration, the time, the rhythm, the pitch. All of these are factors in achieving that purest form of the melody. The way in which all of these qualities are utilized gives life to the melody. Then can't we say that the way that they're utilized either achieves that purest form well or poorly? And wouldn't that be adding virtue to it and without adding feeling there? Or do you think that feeling has to be accounted for when judging that?
Well, if you make the assumption that completeness is good, then you don't need feeling to say that the completed form is good, but that is still an assumption. Someone could actually want it to be incomplete for some reason.
Hmm. Thoughts, Eric?
I'm struggling with making the picture come up on the screen. I'm getting the audio, but
I mean,
I'm just having problems is all. And let me see if do you guys see my screen now?
yeah. All right, now do. All right, now it's
I'm
gone.
just trying to get my. It's like I can't.
I see it.
Yeah, but see the problem is I can't now. I got it off that. I got it back on camera, and I can't see the picture anywhere. I don't know where it went. I don't know how to get to it. It must be this. Like it's invisible. It's invisible.
That's an interesting question, though, Megabro. Is completeness good? I mean, I did kind of assume that when I was saying that. But I think it's like if completeness, if the only way to accurately depict the melody is by having a complete form, then wouldn't completeness be good in that respect?
Well, if you
Sorry for the delay here, folks. Host Eric here, talking you through this technical difficulty. Megabro and I. Megabro seems to be a technical difficulty curse on me. Every time I get to speak to the man, I have technical problems. He's hard to talk to. What the fudge, as they say, if they want to not say the F word.
you're trying to teach someone how to put it together, then it would be better to have it incomplete. You're right. But does that still mean that while it's incomplete, that it's the incomplete? That would be the action that would be good then, right? Or trying to achieve some good, not the actual state of being incomplete.
Well, the action would be the most direct thing that you desire, and the incomplete form would inherit desirability from its usefulness towards that goal.